Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So the Pastel Pop and the Everyday Clutter Kit just came out the other day. So I thought it'd be really cool to do a speed build with one kit each. For this particular build, I just did Pastel Pop and the base game. It is available in the gallery for you to download if you'd like. So let's go ahead and jump into it. As you can see, I did my background a little differently today with the green screen. I think it's super cute. It totally matches today's vibes. I love it so much. Okay, so for this particular build, I know my initial thought was that I wanted to try to do a starter home with just the 20,000 simoleons. That didn't really work out for me though. I went ahead and I did make a sim for this build as well too. I'll probably upload that cast video next week sometime. I kind of gave him like a pastel vibe too. You'll notice, like in this particular part of the video, I sped this portion up with the roofing like quite substantially because I struggled with the roof on this thing so bad. I kid you not, I probably spent a good 30 minutes just on the roofing alone because I could not figure out, like, one, how I wanted it to look, and two, how to make it look good. I didn't really go in with like a house shape or a floor plan in mind, so that was probably like my first mistake. So this video is actually pretty long because this build also includes the landscaping as well too. So sorry for the video, it's like 27 minutes long. But I did know I wanted to do like a suburban looking home. At first I thought I wanted to do like a pink color. See, I told you this roofing like took me forever. But I end up changing some of those windows. But you'll notice here that I wanted to do like a pink pastel color, and I felt like a lot of people just kind of default to pink for like their pastel build. So I do end up changing that later on. You'll see. I did want the upstairs to at first just kind of be like just for looks from the outside of the house, but I actually ended up putting the stairs in there and then making it like a second bedroom, like a loft almost. I kind of regret that now because I feel like I would have gotten a lot more space like out of the floor plan on the first floor had the stairs not been like where they were. I thought about like different ways I could put the stairs in, but like, I mean, by the time like I would move them somewhere else, they would still be totally in the way. The kitchen, probably my favorite part of this build. It just kind of gives me like Barbie and Ken vibes. It's like baby pink and baby blue. And I really love how soft and pretty it is. I did want to try to play around a little bit with some like different colors of blue, like that teal. I just didn't like the way that it looked. I also thought, well, what if I did like pink and blue cabinets? So you'll see here, like after I play around with some curtains there, I was like, ooh, maybe I want to do like blue upper cabinets because like that would kind of vibe a little bit more. But then I just did not like the way that it looked. So I just did pink upper cabinets as well too. I didn't end up doing pink cabinets the whole way around, just like on that first wall. I just didn't want it to feel like super like almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Claustrophobic. I get claustrophobic pretty easily, and I didn't want to put more cabinets on the other side for that reason. So because just I use the base game and the pastel pop kit, I struggled a lot with this because there were like swatches and particular objects and clutter objects that I was looking for like in my catalog that weren't there, that are usually there because I usually build with all of my packs installed. So I really limited myself with that. But I wanted to make this build accessible for everybody. Not everyone has all that money to spend on a million packs or kits, and I get that, and a lot of people are excited about this kit, so I wanted it to be accessible to other people to play. I really wish I would have kept those candles pink. But the kitchen, just everything, just took me forever. That soap pump ended up accidentally getting deleted. I need to go back into the game and put it in there. But there's not like a lot of items. Like, it was just really super hard for me to like decorate this. It would have been really cute if the pastel pop kit maybe would have come with like a few more clutter items, like for the kitchen or like decor for the living room. Don't get me wrong, like I do love these objects that came in this kit. It just didn't feel like, I don't know. I know like kits usually don't come with a lot of items in them anyways. So I don't know. I just feel like it left me wanting more. So maybe there'll be another collaboration down the road with Plumbella and the Sims team, because that would be awesome. Now, I wanted this kitchen to stand out a little bit more. I wanted to do something different. I don't play with like platforms a lot in my games, but I wanted to do something different because I just kind of usually do everything on one level in my builds. Now, I have done like a sunken in living room before for like a 70s themed build. So I kind of raised it up on a platform just to give it like a more like, I don't know, sophisticated look, I guess you could say. Thinking back, instead of raising the floor up, I should have like put it on an actual platform. But okay, so besides like besides the kitchen, the dining room is probably like my second favorite. I did do like a different color theme, or at least I tried to do a different color theme for each room. So obviously for the kitchen, I did pink and blue. And then for the dining room, I did purple and yellow. So I went ahead and, see, I wish there were more like, I really wish this kit would have came with like curtains or something. That would have been awesome because there's not a lot of cute pastel curtains to choose from in the base game. They're just kind of like too bright. Now there are some pretty colors like that yellow blind piece back there, but I just feel like it's almost too bright and not pastel-y enough. So that is like the cookie rug. I ended up sizing that up and then layering those yellow rugs on top. And then I did these little bows. Like, that was just a complete mistake. I like was looking at them like, because I was searching in the catalog by color and I saw these yellow bows and I was like, oh my gosh. And then like I took it out because I was actually going to put it on the wall. And it kind of floated close to the chair. And I'm like, wait, that would look so cute. Like on the back of the chair is like a little like, you know, yellow bow moment. So I really like the way that turned out. I wish that I could have, I used the clear table because there wasn't like anything that like there wasn't anything pastel to choose from in the base game. Or there wasn't anything like in this pack that I could have used as a dining room table either. But you know what would be really cool is if we had runners that we could put on tables. Just like a thin piece of fabric you could kind of decorate with, like for your Sims dining rooms. Maybe you could change it for the holidays so it could be like, you know, holiday themed. But I really wish I would have kept that purple carpet, but I just like couldn't figure out like if I wanted to put the carpet in the dining room too, and then I thought the entryway needed something else, so I just ended up doing like white tile and then doing like a rug over top of it. Okay, so the pictures for the pastel pop kit. So what I'm doing here is you can see when you size them up, they do that weird shadowy thing, which is so disappointing. So like I painted the wall just to see like, okay, like obviously I'm not going to size them up in this build because it's super noticeable. I thought, okay, well maybe if you use them on a darker colored wall, like it wouldn't be as noticeable, like the shadows wouldn't be noticeable. It was noticeable, but you know, what can you do? This shelf, I did size it down twice. I have really bad ADHD, as you can tell. Like, I start in one room, and then, like, I find something that I think would be cute in another, and then go to that room. But the shelves like that with the purple and the green over here, like on the same wall as the TV, those things are ginormous. Like I understand like we want to take up a ton of room like on the wall so you don't have to have like as much decor or separate pieces of decor. But I just felt like they were gigantic. So I ended up sizing those down like at least twice to be able to use them because I felt like they were so out of place and they stuck out really far on the wall. One thing that would like to say like about this pack is I'm super disappointed. Like as cute as the rugs are, they are so not dimensional at all. They literally just look like they're painted on the floor. Like this one in particular, like the cookies, I did like a swatch where I did it to like the croissant or whatever it is, and I kind of like tilted the camera down to look at it, and it just looked like it was painted on the floor. There's like absolutely no texture to it. It just doesn't look three-dimensional at all. It just looks like it's a part of the floor that's painted on. This little trick here that I did is if you go outside of the windows that have bays in them and move the items from the outside, you can actually pull them further back into the window. The only downside to that is that you do lose like a lot of lighting and it tends to change the color of some items. Maybe they're not as bright or they're just not as true to color. So just keep that in mind if you decide to do that with like a bay window. So here I am struggling with the curtains because there are absolutely no pretty like pastel oranges or even pastel yellows to choose from. So I ended up doing with that pink, and I actually think I ended up changing it. I think I changed this entire living room before the end of the build. I just wasn't happy with the way that it looked, and I felt like that it clashed with the dining room vibes. Yeah, there I go. And then I actually end up changing it even more. This mirror, let me tell you about this mirror. So I don't like the way how high it sets up on the wall. Like it's literally like if you go into live mode and kind of, or if you tilt your camera down, it's almost at the ceiling. So I wanted it to a little bit lower, and I couldn't use like the 0 key to get it down to go lower. So what I actually did was I built a basement and placed it on a wall in a basement and then raised it up very slowly to put it like where I wanted it on the wall in the living room. That was like the only solution I could think of because it literally almost touches the ceiling. I'll show you like when we go back into the game how high the mirror is in the entryway. Actually might end up going back into there and changing it and doing like the same thing so it doesn't sit up as high on the wall. Yeah, I'm not vibing with this living room. I left like all of this in because I wanted everyone to see like it's not always rainbows and butterflies when you build. It's okay to go back and change your mind if it's not perfect the first time. Even like after I finished editing this speed build, I did go back in and I did make a few changes to the living room again because when I was taking screenshots, I did not like the way that they were turning out. I kind of wish I would have kept that carpet in the bedroom. This bed and like that carpeting just reminds me of like the 90s and like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air vibes. I really wish I would have kept the carpet. Also struggled a lot with the bedroom kind of color scheme as well too. At this point I just kind of felt like I was repeating the same colors over and over again. That's kind of why it's like a little bit more brightly colored than the rest of the house. That and I just love the way that it went with the bedding as well too. So the windows, I like the way, this is weird. The weird thing with these windows, I don't like the way that they look in this room. They're white on the outside, but for some reason on the inside, they're like that ugly grayish color. So they kind of like ruin the entire bedroom. I think I end up sizing up those curtains to kind of hide them a little bit more. I was just like really disappointed because like they looked so pretty on the outside, but they were so gross looking on the inside. There's not like a lot of furniture that I really felt like would go with this color scheme. I wanted to like do a desk in this room, but then I felt like it would take up too much room and you wouldn't be able to get around the bed. I should have probably thought out the floor plan of this bedroom a little bit better, because it ended up being like really skinny and long, and honestly I should have just made it like a tad bigger, but then I felt like the house would be ginormous for only being 2 bedrooms. The stairs just ended up taking up way too much space. That bright purple painting, I tried to use that twice in this build, and I've never used it before. And I thought, oh, I can use it in here, and it just ended up being like way too bright for me. So the bathroom I just made like baby pink all over. Thinking back now, I probably should have done like a different color, maybe like a baby blue color, but I was just feeling the pink that day. There is a lot of, and what's great about this is like there are a lot of pink items in the base game. That towel shelf over there, like a lot of clutter. There's like even hand towels, robes, sinks, toilet, you name it. It's in baby pink in the base game, which kind of like brings me back to like The Sims 3 days when you could like customize the color of anything. And I would just make everything like turquoise, because I feel like that was like a popular color, like, you know, in the 2000s was like that turquoise and brown color. So I would have like builds that would be like the same color turquoise all over the place. It was terrifying. So because I felt like really burnt out of like pastels and girly colors, by the time I go upstairs I have a completely different surprise in store. I was going to continue like the pastel theme upstairs as well too, but I did something different. I was trying to find like more clutter items to put in the kitchen because it just felt kind of empty to me. When I look at like other people's builds and I see all the cute clutter in their kitchens, I'm like, wow, like that's so cute. It looks like a kitchen that's actually lived in. This one just looks like a display home from Arrested Development. Don't know if you've ever seen that show. It's hilarious. But yeah. So I do end up playing around like with the lighting here a little bit. I felt like the lighting was like way too bright downstairs and it was washing out the color of the wallpaper. So you just saw me like play around with the lighting there a little bit. So for the upstairs, I was going to stick with the pastel theme, but I was just kind of like over it. So I ended up just doing black and white upstairs. So my thought process behind this is that you have like, you know, like a bubbly, cute, like single mom that lives here with like, you know, her angsty teenager who likes everything black. So my idea is that the teenager like lives upstairs, and did their whole upstairs like in black and white. That was me as a kid. But, that terrifying painting on the wall, the Intrepid, underneath of the tile table there, that's the first time that I've ever used that painting in a build. It's always just terrified me. Like, it's just so unsettling. I mean, it just like stares into your soul. As I was going through clutter, I found the aprons and I wanted to try to stick them on like the side of the fridge or the cabinets, and it was just not in the cards for me. So I just put them on the side of the wall there, like right, like in the entryway, like as you come in. And here I am playing around with like some turquoise. I just kind of felt like the kitchen was kind of blah compared to like the dining room. So I wanted to kind of brighten it up a little bit. I don't keep it this way though. I just felt like that it was overwhelming and it didn't really fit the pastel vibe. It was more just like kind of like neon. So I just ended up getting rid of it. But in the base game, like there are not a lot of black and white items to choose from decor. Like I was running out of like stuff to put up here. And then I thought, oh, which I didn't actually end up doing it, obviously, because there's a roof back there. But now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, oh, I should have put like windows on the back of the house. That would have like taken up more space, so there would have been less wall to decorate. But there was a roof back there. So had to kind of like, because I didn't really think out a thorough plan for my floor plan, it kind of came back to bite me in the end. So I painted the house, and then I changed the lighting outside probably about 1,000,000 times, like from morning to afternoon to evening. And I couldn't get the true color of this like wallpaper or the siding. It said that it was purple in the catalog, but I could not tell in this lighting. So I actually ended up moving the house to another lot in Willow Creek. And then those curtains in the kitchen would not snap into place correctly at all. At first I wanted to do like a pastel vibe on the outside too, like to do like pink trim and like pink stairs and pink like tile like on the patio. But I kind of wanted to make it like normal-ish looking on the outside. That way it wasn't so obvious what it was on the inside. I guess like it's just kind of like a normal basic looking, purple suburban, and then on the inside it's just a pastel nightmare. It looks like Barbie Dreamhouse threw up all over the place. But yeah, here's the house once I moved it to this other lot in Willow Creek. I don't really know, like this lighting isn't super great either, like looking back on this footage. I mean, it was way better than where it was. Because it was like on Bargain Bend, and then I moved it back like a few lots. But if you guys have like any idea on like better lots to build on, even if I have to bulldoze the existing house to like build on so I can get better lighting, please let me know, especially in Willow Creek. I just always build in Willow Creek because like I just know it. The lots are cheap, so I mean, I have all of the expansion packs, so even if it's not in Willow Creek, if there's like a favorite place of yours to build, please let me know, because, or a mod. I'll even use a lighting mod, which I should actually look into. I heard that was a thing. I've actually never looked into a lighting mod before. So I might do that as well too. So I thought, okay, let's just go for the whole package here. I might as well put whole sim self into this build, and we're gonna do a patio area as well too. So in total, this build, which I don't know what a normal amount of time to spend on a build is. Like, I'll either spend like an hour on something and then like it's done, or I'll like obsess over it like this one. And I think it all in all, like with the interior and everything and like the landscaping, I did take breaks obviously in between, but I think it took me 5 hours. But that's just because like I get distracted really easily, and then like I'll sit and stare at my computer for like a really long time trying to think of what to do, because I honestly sometimes go into these builds without a plan, unless like I feel inspired, or I see like a floor plan that I'd like to do, or if I see like a real life house that I'd like to build, which actually takes me even longer. Because like I'm very detail oriented, and then like I like to look up the house on Zillow and then try to find the floor plans. But it's really hard for me to do houses that are like inspired by real life builds, even though I love them so much, because like I'm so anal about how true they look. I can't do one that's inspired by a build. It has to be exactly like the real thing. But I thought, hey, let's just do this patio. I did the terrain paint instead of like pavers, or instead of like actual like flooring, because like I felt like it would just flow a little bit better. I like the way that it's kind of faded around the edges. It just feels more like authentic to me, as opposed to just like painting the outdoor area. That way you can kind of like cut around like plants like this, or leave some sections out of it that doesn't just look like you place like a brick on the floor. So I did do like a little pink pastel umbrella. That's from the base game. I used those pastel tables there for the little sun tanning area. I did end up putting a hot tub in here too because I thought, why not? I didn't do like any like monkey bars or kids toys outside. I typically don't include those in my build, but the family that I had imagined living here anyway, the kid would probably be, like I said, like a teenager, so they'd be too old for that stuff anyways. So I ended up doing the hot tub instead. I was so stressed about landscaping. Like, I am honestly not the best landscaper. My friend Simmeru, he did this museum a while back, like a few builds ago, and I was just like amazed at the landscaping he did. Like, it was absolutely gorgeous. Like, I was blown away. So, like, definitely check his videos out if you want to learn how to landscape better. So I've learned like some things from him and like obviously Little Simsy, because I would never be able to landscape on my own. I have no idea. That's not a talent that I have, because most of the time, by the time I'm done with my builds, I am so tired I don't even feel like landscaping. So I was just really determined to kind of get through this and finish it and put it up on the gallery for everybody, because I didn't want to wait like a week to build it. I wanted to kind of, get it in the gallery where everyone was still excited about it. So all in all, I really liked the pastel pop kit. Like, as I mentioned, I didn't really care for like how two-dimensional the rugs were. I actually didn't end up loving the couch that was in it either. But that's the end of the video, so we're gonna go ahead and go into the build here. All right. Everyone say hi to Daryl. This is Daryl. Alrighty. Actually, okay, so this is what I changed. I did end up changing the living room here. I did not love the couch and the chair that came with the pastel pop kit. They were just kind of basic looking. And honestly, like a little flat looking. So I added something with like a little bit more texture and detail in there. Ended up putting a plant and then a coffee table as well too. There's the bathroom. I don't even know if I painted this like in the speed build, but it has like that cute gingham wallpaper in it. The kitchen, like I said, is probably my favorite room. I love, love, love that. And then this little, like, it's not even like a dining area. It's just like a place to sit over here in the corner. But I love how the kitchen turned out. And then I think also, like, I did a few changes in the bedroom as well, too. But here's the dining room. And then I did end up changing the bedroom. Ended up putting this window here and then sizing up those curtains. I really love those bright little sunflowers there. And then we have the upstairs, which is black and white for the teenager. Not a lot to choose from in the base game. And then I did end up changing this, kind of like clips with the railing, but I did do like a fence here that's black and white to match it, but it kind of clips with that pink railing as it goes downstairs, which I didn't want to do black railing downstairs. And then you have your little outdoor area with your pink hot tub, and then your umbrellas that are pink. And then obviously I did the back door pink too, just to kind of like give that little pastel kick, and then your bar. But yeah, I actually loved how this landscaping turned out as long as it took me. But I love these windows too. Like, this is that bay window in the living room. It's pink on the outside and so pretty, but like when you go inside, it's just brown. Like, it's so ugly. But anyways, what can you do? If you stayed to watch this whole video, thanks so much for joining me. I do post 3 times a week. I post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes Saturdays. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you get notified every time I post videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.